Ten,
Stomach take studio.
7, 6,
Stomach
5,
number 1, mics 1 and 2.
3, 2, 1.
Take studio.
Good afternoon, MCHS. Welcome to another episode of MCTV News. I'm your host, William Doney.
And I'm Melnychuk. On today's show, Kaiswatum brings us a look at the renovations that occurred in the school's library over the summer. Boissonnault reports from the wilds of Mount Robinson Provincial Park in British Columbia. And Imgrund-Harvey gets messy in Mr. Cortash's Biology 30 class. But first, here's our top story.
MCHS recently held a food drive to collect non-perishable items for the individuals in the community that were in need this Thanksgiving. I was able to speak with Morinville Food Bank manager Ken Scharmann about the importance of this MCHS initiative.
MCHS recently held a food drive in which they gathered food for families in need this Thanksgiving season. Grade 11 student Kale Graham donated to the food bank.
What motivated me was all the people that needed food in our community, and it helps them out a lot.
Ken Scharmann, the organizer of the Morinville Food Drive, talked to us about the amount of food they gather year to year and how whether or not they beat their goal from last year.
I think we're going to this year, yeah, because we got a few more drives yet to go, and so far I believe in the last couple of days we got about 6,000 pounds in the last couple of weeks here, so we're doing all right.
After multiple years with the food bank and tons of food collected, Ken talked to us about what it's been like for him personally.
Just to help out, I worked for CN Rail for 34 years and I retired from there, so I got time to do this now. We live in one of the better places in Alberta here as far as food bank is concerned. We have a lot. The town of Morinville really supports the food bank very well.
The town of Morinville will be keeping with the tradition of the food bank every year. For MCTV News, William Doney reporting.
Hi there, guys. I just had a great time out at the pep rally. Go MCHS. Good luck at the WCC to all of our teams, the boys and the girls. And let's hope for some good volleyball action. Now let's take a look at our weather. So over here in the western seaboard, it's 0 degrees up in Whitehorse, and with some flakes. It's, I don't know, it could be a rough day for Yellowknife and Whitehorse. It's thunderstorms and rain down in Vancouver at 12. A beautiful day in Regina at 23. Might as well get your swimming trunks on because that's going to be a nice day. 20 in Winnipeg, -4 to Iqaluit, 21 in Toronto. That's warmer than this morning. 20 degrees in Montreal, another beautiful day. And then relatively warm out in the Maritimes at 18 and 11. Now let's take a look at our provincial forecast for you guys. Okay, up here in high level, it is a cold 6 degrees with some chance of snow. Make sure you put on your winter mittens out there. It is 11 degrees in Fort Mac, 15 in Edmonton. Relatively nice, could be nicer, you know. Same in Red Deer. It is 12 degrees with snow and showers in Grand Prairie. And then relatively warm at 12 in Banff and Jasper. Banff, you could watch out for some snow tonight. And then down here in Medicine Hat, it is 21 degrees and 18 in Calgary. Now let's look at our current conditions. It is 10 degrees with 14 kilometers per hour worth of winds coming from the south. The relative humidity is at 75% today, and the sunrise was at 8:11 a.m. I would have liked for the sun to rise sooner, but this is what we're stuck with, and it will set at 6:30 p.m. Now let's go to our 7-day forecast. It is going to be in the high single digits to about 11 degrees throughout the week, and with lows of about 0 degrees throughout the week. Thanks, you guys, and it is back to you.
Thanks for the weather update, Brad. Over summer vacation, the MCHS library went through some badly needed renovations. From new flooring to new technology, this is a quiet corner of the school, has undergone some dramatic changes. Kaiswatum brings us the report.
During summer break, while students were away, the school underwent updates to the library, which will benefit student learning this year and other years to come.
I think the updates in the library are very good for the school, and I think that they've been needing to be done for a while. Since it's one of the first rooms that people will see when they come into the school, that it needs to look nice, that people need to be able to look at the library and say, yeah, that's something we can be proud of.
The school is introducing more technology for students to use, an addition that is just one of many put into the library.
We are trying to focus on our makerspace. So that involves EV3 robotics, it involves the Autobots, the VR goggles, sphero balls, different things like that. So we actually need some floor space to be able to work with these items for you guys to create and do different things with. We also added some more computers on the back wall for students and that, so we can house the larger classes that we have to accommodate them.
Furthermore, the library was introduced to new carpet and linoleum to comfortably house the many students in the school.
We've made more area for students to be able to eat in here, and we usually have a pretty full house in here at lunchtime.
But I could definitely see myself using it more often now that I know that it's been updated a lot more, has some new features, and feels a lot more welcoming.
Reporting for MCTV News, Melody Kaiswatum.
Welcome back. The Magical Sport Month of October continues with a major North American sports leagues in action. Here to tell us about it is our very own Eli Sliger.
Thanks, Eric. In the majors and 2 championship series continue last night, with the Yankees taking a 3-2 lead in the series, with the Astros with a convincing 5-0 win in New York. The Chicago Cubs avoided elimination, a 3-2 victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers. LA still leads the series 3-1. Turning to the NHL, 3 games were in tap last night. Toronto continuing their amazing start to the season with a 6-3 victory over Detroit. The Canadiens continued to struggle with a 5-1 loss to the Kings, and St. Louis easily beat Chicago 5-2. The NBA started regular season earlier this week. Roughly 24 teams were in action last night, including the Philadelphia 76ers, who lost to the Washington Wizards 115-120. The Bucks beat Celtics 108-100, and New Orleans dropped their first game of the season to Memphis 91-103. The Rockets edged the Kings 105-100, and the Timberwolves were defeated 99-107 by the Spurs. In CFL, some teams are still trying to firm playoffs heading into Week 19. The Ticats are on road against the Redbacks. Montreal takes Saskatchewan, and the Lions hope to win against the Blue Bombers in the Eskimos' attempt to continue their winning ways against the top team in the league when the Calgary Stampeders come to Commonwealth on Saturday. Week 7 of NFL sees the five of the Kansas City Chiefs in action against the Oakland Raiders tonight. Some of the Sunday matchups include Arizona versus Los Angeles and the Cowboys against the struggling 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks head to New York to take on the Giants, and Washington goes to head on to Philadelphia. Coming up next, MCTV News reporter Ethan Boissonnault was lucky enough to get onto last month's Fred Sherman Memorial hiking trip in Jasper National Park. What he and other participants were surprised by was several inches of snow that radically changed the plans for the trip organizers. Ethan recently sat down with Mr. Boutestein and Mrs. King and talked about the trip and files this report.
The 4th annual Fred Scharmann hiking trip was the 20th to the 21st. It was cut short due to weather conditions.
When we couldn't get to our hostel because there was so much snow on the road, Jasper was full, Hinton was full. The only other option was either going back to Edson, which is 2 hours away, over some icy roads, or we headed into BC, which is only an hour away. So we went to BC, stayed in BC for the night.
Staying in Valmont allowed them to hike the Mount Robson trails.
We did a hike that we weren't planning on doing, which was kind of cool because we'd never hiked in Mount Robson Provincial Park before.
There's also many challenging aspects of this trip.
I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect to hurt so badly on the way down, if I'm honest. But they were great.
Just positivity and positive attitude about everything was really great. And the people that came this year, they knew that even though we got one hike out of it and we had to leave early, that they just still make it what it is.
Hiking the mountains allows you to see views you wouldn't be able to see driving.
It's gorgeous. There was times where no matter what direction you looked, all you saw was mountain, and there was no sign of civilization. It was amazing.
Yeah, the views are always spectacular anywhere in the mountains, honestly.
The hiking trip was originally not a trip just to go hiking, but a trip for photography students to be able to get out and practice their skills.
It was a day trip that we had originally planned. It was with a group of photographers We only went to Elk Island on the very, very first trip way back in the day, and that sort of evolved to a trip to Drumheller, and then we said, hey, maybe we do an overnight trip to the mountains, and then that kind of started happening for a few years, but it was mainly for photography and video students.
Every year the trip has been filling up faster and faster, and the trip for next year is already full.
There's such a demand for the trip that we're booking these every year. The checks are coming in like 6, 7, 8, 10 months. This year, 12 months in advance.
This hiking trip was one of a kind. The students will never forget it. This is Ethan Boissonnault reporting from MCTV.
Welcome back. On Monday, residents of Morinville headed to the polls to elect their town council for the next 4 years. Among those, candidates voted in was Nicole Boutestein, who is about to serve her 3rd term as a councillor in Morinville. And she joins us in studio today. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
My first question is, you were first elected back in 2010. What originally got you into local politics?
Well, I've lived in Morinville for over 40 years, so basically the love of the community, and I really enjoy a challenge. And there was a lot of different things that were happening in the community in 2010 that I felt needed to be changed, so it was my way to be more involved.
How did this election compare to the past 2 elections that you had run in before?
This one only had 7 candidates vying for 6 positions, so it was a lot more, dare I say, friendly than the other one, less stressful. I think what we didn't agree upon was not the individual person running, but more of the ideas that they presented was probably the biggest challenge for this campaign. It was a lot of fun. It's unfortunately Neil McDougall didn't get in, and you know what? He did the right thing to give Morinville an election. We have a democratic society, and I was very proud that he came up on nomination day. So,
what are the most challenging parts of this job for you as a person, and what motivates you to keep coming back?
You know, it's definitely not the money. A lot of people think that councillors make a lot of money. We don't. We do it for the love of the job, the love of the community. And again, it is the challenge. It is moving forward with the community. The last 4 years on council, our council has spent a lot of time and effort building momentum with the new rec facility. And that's why going forward, I think it was so important for me to rerun and to get elected, was to keep that momentum going. Right now, council is going to have 3 returning councillors, well, 2 and a mayor, and then 4 new ones. And you build on that. You need experience, and you also need new energy, new ideas. So I think it's going to be a good balance.
As you start this next 4-year term, what are your priorities for not only the mayor, but the council and all of Morinville?
First thing that the mayor and council have to look at is building a strategic plan, which is a 4-year rolling plan that council sits down and they build. So basically it's going through and it's prioritizing the needs and wants of the community, what we need, what we can afford, and how we can build that in over the next 4 years. We just can't jump on something. For instance, we need infrastructure to continue, but we also want a pool. So it's sitting down and building that 4-year plan and deciding how we're going to fit this into the next 4 years. And if we can't, when can we fit it in? How can we put money in reserves? How can we go forward with that? So it's going to be basically us 7 sitting down and also hearing from the community. The biggest thing that we'll have to take a look at is our budget process as well. We have an $18 million budget that we need to pass. Probably it won't happen in November, which is usually when we do it. We'll pass an interim budget and our budget process won't take place until January, which means no new projects for the community until then. So we have to work within an existing budget right now, and then we have to sit down and build a new one as well.
Well, it sure seems like you do have a lot on your plate. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you again for having me.
Coming back after the break, Eric Melnychuk will bring us our weekly MCHS announcements, and Jordan Imgrund-Harvey brings us a look at the Biology 30 Brain Dissection Lab. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Hey, what are you up to?
Oh, here, I'll show you. I'm posting a photo for the new MCHS Howls competition. All you have to do is post a photo on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, put the hashtag MCHS Howls, and you're entered to win a prize at the end of each month.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I think I'll go try that now. Come on. Can I do it on the balcony?
Yes!
Can I do it in foods class?
Yes! Yes, you can!
Can I do it while I'm juggling?
Yes!
Can I do it in the tunnels of MCHS?
Yes! Can I do it in the drama room? Yes!
Can I do it anywhere in MCHS?
Yes!
Let it go, can't hold it back anymore.
All right, guys, got a really important show. Make sure you sign up for your positions, all right? All right, guys, this is serious. I don't have any hosts for the next show. I need some hosts, please. Are you kidding me? Well, I might as well go and do the titles then.
Sorry!
Get in the studio.
You get in the studio.
MCTV News. I host, so my students don't have to.
And let's take a look at the daily announcements for the week of October 19th. The 23rd Annual Lions Western Canadian Challenge Volleyball Tournament continues tonight, tomorrow, and on Saturday. Come to MCHS and cheer on the senior boys and girls volleyball teams. Go Wolves, go! Attention grade 12, be sure to make an appointment with Mrs. Christensen to do a credit check in preparation for graduation. See Mrs. DeRoche in the student services to book one ASAP. The Johnston's Ring Man will be at MCHS on Monday, November 6th and Tuesday, November 7th. At lunch, to take grad ring orders. Catalogs are available in MCHS main office, and be sure to bring a $60 deposit to secure your order. Grad merchandise to purchase is available for students in grade 9 to 12. T-shirts are going for $20. Long sleeve athletic shirts are going for $23, or hoodies for $40, or you can customize your one with your own name for additional $5. Orders and payments must be received by the MCHS main office no later than Wednesday, November 1st. Be sure to get on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and share your positive experiences here at MCHS using the hashtag MCHSHowls. Monthly prizes will be given and you will be automatically entered for a grand prize drawn at the end of the school year. For these and all other school information, keep connected by listening to the daily announcements in Block 2, logging on to the school's website at mchs.gsacred.ab.ca, or following the school on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As well, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching MCTV Morinville.
Coming up next, reporter Jordan Imgrund-Harvey recently spent some time with Cortash's Biology 30 class and got more than he expected. We've always said he's one of the brains of the MCTV operation, but now he has the footage to prove it, after witnessing one of their dissection labs.
Mr. Cortash's Biology 30 can be an interesting class. Instead of people writing on paper, they can sometimes cut animals open. Everything from a cow eye to a baby pig fetus, but this time it's a sheep brain.
It's way more engaging than just looking at pictures in the textbook or on the smartboard, and I like the way that we're doing it here is they work in a group and they have to sort of quiz each other and work together to make sure that they understand all the parts. So it's sort of a group quiz, and I think that's a lot more engaging.
Every student agreed that the easiest part was the dissection portion, but there was also a hardest.
Easiest was just cutting it in half. The difficult part was like finding where some of the smaller structures were.
It's mostly just actually knowing where things are, because it's like so different from the diagram, so you get to know the real colors and everything.
Mr. Cortash tells us what he does to prepare the students for their dissection.
We learn about the anatomy first and the function, and then that way they have a little bit of background before we actually get to the dissection where they can see it in action.
There were many takeaways from the dissection, but what did they think was the biggest?
I think it's a lot more interesting and engaging for students to do something that's hands-on, and they get to see, rather than just looking at a smart board, looking at pictures in a textbook, what it actually looks like in real life, because it's not always exactly like they show in the pictures.
So I feel like we really get the opportunity to actually like see how it actually functions in real life.
Most of the students look forward to doing more dissections like this one in the future. From MCTV News, I'm Jordan Imgrund-Harvey reporting.
And that's it for another episode of MCTV News. Join us again next Thursday when I have an exclusive interview with Morinville Mayor Barry Turner. Eric Melnychuk gives us a first look at the MCHS drama class, and Sydney Jones takes us to the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology's recent open house. All this plus your 7-day weather forecast and sports update on a very Halloweenish episode on Thursday, October 26th. So, are you excited for all the volleyball that's going to be going on this weekend?
Sure am.
Man, I always just want to go watch me a volleyball game. It's what I do.
Same, to be honest. Cheer for all of our teams going on right now, actually.
All right, well, go Wolves. From all of us at MCTV News, I'm William Doney.
And I'm Eric Melnychuk. Thanks for tuning in.